Yeah,
But we
true.
know what's going on over at the Kotaku writers
Yeah.
and
Uh,
what they plan on doing.
yeah. Mike, we've been talking a lot about layoffs, right? A lot of bad stuff going on in the industry. A lot of
Yep.
collapsing.
Facts.
A lot of these, gaming divisions at these news outlets. A lot going on. So I figured it was a couple announcements this week of some people from X, X companies that are going to that are essentially forming new companies and new kind of blogs and whatnot. So this is one of them. Former Kotaku writers are launching a new video game site, and they actually own it this time. They founded Aftermath, which is a new website for video games and culture. So yeah, very long article. I'm kind of going to take bits and pieces. But 4 ex-Kotaku staffers, this is Jay Peters, by the way, at The Verge. 4 ex-Kotaku staffers are launching a new subscriber-based video games and culture publication, Aftermath. The website, which is now live, will be co-owned by Nathan Grayson, Gita Jackson, Riley MacLeod, and Luke Plunkett, all Kotaku mainstays who helped shape its incisive voices.
Yeah, incisive.
Incisive?
You got it. Incisive.
Incisive, yeah, no,
Nah.
I'm gonna say it like that. Before leaving the site for one reason or another. They said that Aftermath is about the internet and everything that comes after. Jackson says in a recent interview that Jay had with all 4 founders. Jackson elaborates, so interested in taking Aftermath and using the site to discuss the way that we live now and the way that capitalism and the internet have really intertwined and changed a lot of the ways that we find self-expression, the way that media is made, and the way that we consume it. Plunkett says that the group wants to bring a combination of skepticism. So much of video games is filtered through PR marketing BS, but also speak plainly about issues, games, and communities. Hope is that Aftermath is interesting enough for readers to bookmark it and visit directly a few times a day to see what's new, whether that's things like reported articles, reviews, or even just 500-word posts about stuff the staff sees that they think is stupid. Some of the first stories include posts about the video game unions, Alan Wake 2, a bike ride MacLeod went on, and Starfield's coffee situation. A couple of those. I visited the site, I think, on mobile the other day. It looks pretty nice. But yeah, it's got a lot of those. So at least the first few articles that they did on the launch day, it was just, again just kind of what I just said there. It's some of them are kind of just like little bits, and then some of them are full-fledged articles. Kind of an interesting thing there. So it's been a devastating year for video game journalism. Washington Post shut down Launcher. Grayson was laid off. MacLeod left the Post in October. Vice shut down Waypoint. There were layoffs and departures at publications like Inverse, Tencent-owned Fanbyte, Fandom-owned GameSpot and Giant Bomb, and Dot Esports, Destructoid, and the Escapist parent company Gamers Group. Jackson was laid off from Vice in October 2022. Plunkett, in his July goodbye post, wondered if he should have left Kotaku, which is owned by GO Media, sooner. All these publications have had to deal with all types of challenges facing much of modern day online media. Chasing SEO, adapting a fickle social media platform, shifting advertising revenue, grappling with ownership upheavals, putting up with the abuse and harassment from readers, and coming to terms with changes and devastation wrought by layoffs. Yeah, and then it's not only the publications, right? It's also a lot of gaming companies kind of imploding. I feel like with these layoffs and whatnot, it's overall like not a fun time. It says this is very interesting. I'll read this kind of about their model. The team's current plan is to let people read 2 free articles per month before hitting a registration wall for the Aftermath newsletter. If you sign up for that, you'll be able to read 2 more free articles before you run into a paywall. Plunkett tells me that the team might be a little more elastic with that plan for the launch. People who want to subscribe can pick from 3 tiers, which are $7, $10, and $100 per month, respectively, which each offer unlimited access to articles and, depending on which tier you pay for, an increasing number of perks. And yeah, they kind of just, it's kind of their pay model, right? It's a subscription base. It's kind of almost like a kind of a Patreon type thing, if I had to kind of think about it like that. But yeah, much more of the article just kind of talks about, goes into more detail about these models. There's also, they're not only doing kind of articles and blog posts. I think they're also trying to spin up a Twitch channel, kind of get that going. Have a couple people maybe stream on that. And yeah, just there's 2 podcasts also launching as well. I think one's kind of a comic book based podcast. They're doing. and then another one that's kind of more niche focused on other topics. So yeah, I mean, you got podcasts going, you got a Twitch channel going. I think they're trying to kind of find different ways for revenue and whatnot, kind of outside of just writing articles and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of 4 industry vets kind of co-founded a publication, and I'm curious to kind of see how this goes. I'm curious to see how the subscriber base is going to work. I feel like now I feel like if subscriber base could work, it's also very hard to compete when you have. That's why I think it's a good idea for them to kind of branch out other than just doing like articles and blog posts, because you could just get most of your news from The Verge or a free outlet. So it's kind of
That's
like
what I was gonna say. You gotta have like exclusive like stuff as well.
Yeah.
With like maybe prime articles with like Phil Spencer talking about the future of Xbox, something like that.
Yeah. Get some interviews, get some cool stuff like that. I mean, I'll be interested to kind of see how this does, but yeah, subscription model, I mean, it really depends on the content. I'll end up kind of working with that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, what do you think, Mike? A little bit of positivity, I think, kind of people trying their own thing, especially with kind of the uncertainty going on right now.
I think it's pretty cool that they're starting their own thing after being laid off, or like trying to figure out what they want to do, but still stay in the same like career path and being an owner. I mean, that's awesome, dude. It's really, really cool. I think they seems like they have a good head on their shoulders and they know what they want to do.
Yep.
And they have a vision, which is good. And it's also good to see like The Verge, which is going to be a rival or competitor of theirs, is actually giving them some type of spotlight.
Yeah.
To show off like, hey, this is what these guys are trying to do, and this could be really good. I don't know how I feel about the subscription model. I'm not particularly a fan of that, and I know how to bypass it. So
yeah. Certainly something you can do. I'm not gonna say I like encourage the idea.
Yeah, I do like the idea of like content creation, streaming, and like exclusive interviews and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. I like to check some stuff out.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be curious to see kind of how all that works. I'm definitely gonna try and check out probably a couple articles here and there as well. If you get a couple months for free, it's like if I see a big story, it's like okay, see what they said about it, kind of thing.
Maybe go check it out. Exactly.
See how we see. I mean, I'll be on the lookout, especially with the podcast and everything. We rely on wonderful people like Jay Peters to post these really well thought out articles, and we can kind of commentate on it.
That's why we have all the links in the articles in the description below, so check it out.
I know. Yeah, we always
shout out to them
down there. Yeah, it's I don't know, these people do great work. So I mean, yeah, it's very unfortunate to kind of see a lot of these bigger companies kind of either cutting their division or just having to shut doors entirely because they lose their funding. So it's like it sucks to see. But if people want to try to do their own thing, get some have their own they have their own ownership, they have full control kind of thing. It'd be interesting to see kind of what they do with that. Because I mean, this article kind of says it too. It's a lot of that, like there's kind of some PR language and stuff that are sometimes put through some of these articles, things they can't say, full opinions they can't probably discuss. So someone with a site with full control, it'll be I think that may give them a little bit of edge to kind of just voice their opinions and whatnot. So curious to see it, to say the least.